Hello, everyone. I am joined by Vora from 100 Thieves, coming off of their win today, staying alive in the lower bracket as well. So, firstly, Vora, I mean, to be fair, talking about 100 Thieves this year, you guys have been looking incredibly strong. The only two losses that you've really faced have been to, kind of the veterans of NA, which are G2 and NRG. So, how did this roster kind of come together? Because I'd love to know more about it. I know that you and Timotino were from at TSM last year. How did everything kind of like fit together?
Honestly, I think me and Tim kind of made verbal agreements around Ascension time.
Mm-hmm.
Ascension kind of makes everything a lot more hectic and chaotic. It gives the tier one like orgs more pressure to sign players because I mean the signing window is during Ascension, and I mean after Ascension you have what probably like less than a month left to sign people. So me and Tim were already kind of agreed to join 100 Thieves, so like a while, but
Mm-hmm.
we did the trialing process with other people after we landed in Brazil. I think we had like 3 days to trial people because I mean it was about to close, right? So we had 3 days to trial. I was super sick, so I mean like my
Oh
3 days
no.
of trial, you know, kind of shoddy when I was super sick from landing, but I mean it was already like predetermined. We just had to like there we knew we were keeping Pete and we verbally agreed me and Tim and we are keeping cryo. So yeah, we just did some trials. We only had a few days and picked up Sean. It's pretty anticlimactic type, but I mean that's how it came to be.
I think that's nice, like being able to plan things out. Talking about Ascension, even if you guys weren't able to win the trophy, I think that you guys, I think you and Tim definitely delivered. As did the whole of TSM, to be honest. You guys, your whole run was pretty fantastic. So, I would like to know a little bit more about your esports career because I think that since TSM is when people have started to really know you. So, did you always want to be an esports player? Tell me a little bit more about that.
I mean I didn't put all my eggs in that basket. How it came to be is I was playing ranked, I was streaming, and I was just playing the game not casually, but I was grinding and I was just rank one, and the TSM opportunity came. I was like, you know what? I may as well take a shot at it. I have time. I want to play the game. I'll give it a year, see how I like it, and see how it goes. And I mean, we rode that all the way to second place in Ascension.
Mm-hmm.
So, and now I'm 100 Thieves. So I mean, it was definitely worth that risk. I'm glad I decided to actually join TSM and stop streaming.
Mm-hmm.
It's been working wonders for me.
What did you plan to do in case the esports thing didn't work out? Since you said you didn't have all your eggs in one basket.
I was going to school. I was in university. I took a gap because I was getting really burnt out. Not really a big school guy myself. I wanted to just play games, stream, get some income to pay for my tuition,
Fair enough.
and things just fell into place for me. I was just in rank one, got the TSM opportunity, played TSM, now 100 Thieves. I mean, everything's been pretty much on a straight line for me so far, and I've been extremely fortunate to be in this position and doing my best to make the most out of it.
Hmm. Talking about today's game, I just wanted to ask about how your team like keeps their cool, maintains their mental, especially when you need to come back a streak of rounds, to be able to let that map slip out of your hands. How do you guys do it?
Our team specifically has always struggled in like how do I word it? When things get hectic, we get hectic. So a big part of our practice so far has been just trying to stay relaxed, try and just, you know, slow it down. Like I remember like against NRG, we lost critical thrifty rounds because, when things get hectic, we react really fast and we're on the same page. Today we kind of just kept our cool, kept it slow, didn't just instantly, react quickly. And I think a big part of that has been my like to IGLing and like everyone on the team just we just need to relax in the comms, just take it one step at a time and just do it together. And when we do that, we look pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Talking about setups and getting together, I think your retakes in particular looked really, really insane on Bind. So I think that the coordination was really good. So how do you build that team chemistry since you've had a relatively short time as a roster compared to maybe perhaps some other teams in NA or around the world?
Honestly, me and Tim came into the team with people that had, or like they already like Pete, Cryo, and like Sean. Even if he joined, like they already were part of 100 Thieves where their bind was already super strong, and we on TSM like bind too. So it's like with their core of like already having like a really strong bind, we just added onto it, and now
Mm-hmm.
our bind is just really good. Our bind will always be good, and they added on top of it like their insane bind that they already had, and that's why we just make it work even better. And like to work on these like retakes and stuff, like it's just like every day we go to practice, we work on talking to each other, playing with each other. I think it's such a big part of the game. Like you can be like the best fragger on earth, but it doesn't matter if you're not like getting on the same page with your teammates. And that's been like a heavy emphasis for us.
Mm-hmm.
And if we keep doing that, we're gonna reach new levels. And I'm glad that it kind of showed in that comeback with Bind where we just take our time and just get on the same page with each other because we're kind of unstoppable when we do that.
Mm-hmm. And looking at the brackets, odds are that if you keep winning, you're going to be running into either G2 or NRG again. So I wanted to ask you, or maybe even both, the way the brackets go. Who knows? But my question to you here would be like, are you eager to see them again? And what do you think is the biggest thing that you have to fix before you meet either of these two teams again?
For me, I'm excited going against them again. I think we learned a lot of lessons playing against them the first time, especially as like a team, not even just individually. I mean, I learned a lot as a leader myself
Mm-hmm.
for the team, but everyone else also learned a lot of things. And going to those games again, we already knew like playing those series, like we could have closed those maps out if we didn't lose those critical rounds. Like we have it in the back of our head, like it's bittersweet because we knew we could have closed those maps out. So going to it next time, we're gonna fix those mistakes, and we'll definitely have a better chance of closing another map out. We know we're capable of doing so. So we're taking every series one at a time and just playing our game and getting better.
I think the getting better part is definitely true. I had a question I wanted to ask. I forgot. My mind slipped. Yes, so talking about you in particular, I think that coming in from tier two, what are the differences that you see between playing in tier two and playing in tier one?
I think in tier one, every team kind of plays a different game so far. Like in tier two, it's kind of easy to just play the same way, play the same predictable stuff. And even like when I said like the micro thing, we're getting on the same page and playing calm. Like it's not really as big of a factor in tier two than it is in tier one. Like
Mm-hmm.
people in tier one really catch you doing these mistakes really, really fast. Like you do one thing wrong, they will capitalize instantly. It's not like, oh, you do something dumb and you get like a 3K and yeah. Like in tier one, no, you mess up, you instantly die. Like you can't there's no room for dumb errors in tier one now, and I think that's the biggest thing for me is learning how to just, like all the bad habits from tier two, I'm slowly itching away in tier one, and I'm trying to develop myself more to be just a better player in general. I mean, like I'm just scraping off these bad habits
Mm-hmm.
every day, and it's yeah, that's the biggest takeaways I can say.
Okay. What does an average day look like in for you guys when it comes to like practice and everything else? Like, what's your schedule?
We've been practicing pretty hard. We show up at the office at 9 in the morning, do VOD, do server time, talk about strats for a few hours. Then we do about, 4 to 5 hours of prac. And then our day ends at around 7 after we go over our notes. So, I mean, we're at the facility from 10 to 7. We work really hard. We put a lot of effort in our game. And, yeah, hopefully the results keep showing up because of how much work we put. I think they're 9-hour days. So they're not short, that's for sure.
I mean, I think this is the best Hundred Thieves has looked since they joined franchising between you and me. So yeah, I think the work is showing for sure. You guys look really good. I think that my next question to you will be more about like the meta. I think that there's been a lot of changes. There's been Harbor getting a buff, although you haven't really seen it yet, and of course the initiator changes in particular, which is what has been really affecting you, I presume. So how's it been after the timer nerfs and everything else playing that role, and how has it changed the way the game itself seems to function according to you?
I think honestly, in terms of like agent changes and like the cooldowns and stuff, it's really shifted the meta to where it's not like one comp isn't meta anymore. You can play a whole bunch of comps and make it work. Like people like can play Vito, Tejo, they could play chamber comps. Like you can play I feel like right now is like the best time of the game to be unpredictable because since like Sova utility got nerfed or like initiator utility got nerfed, you can op way harder now. You can play these super like passive comps, super aggressive comps. Nothing really is meta right now, maybe except for Viper. But even then, like you can mix and match double duelist, single initiator. You can do double sentinel. Nothing is super hard meta right now, and I feel like honestly the meta right now is trying to be unpredictable. Like you saw how on Corrode we caught G2 off really hard. They had no idea what to do against our Corrode the first time I played them, right? So I think
Yeah.
that's what I think is like the strong suit for teams right now is just switching up their play and trying to be different than everyone else because the name of the game right now is adaptation, and I think it's really hard when you have to play different comps every time rather than just one meta comp where the everything is simulated and very the same. So that's what I think it is now.
I think that makes a lot of sense for sure. And I think before I throw it to the quick fire questions, who was the most difficult opponent you faced so far?
Difficult opponent, probably like individually or team.
Both. You can answer both.
Not gonna lie, I think NRG as a team really capitalized on our mistakes and left no options for us. Like they really like they I felt like they put me in a corner. So I think NRG, but individually I think Leaf kind of annihilated us on G2. I think NRG played well as a team. Like no one individually annihilated us. Everyone on that team knew what to do. G2 was more scrappy, but I mean that guy Leaf on that day, he was he put us down.
He was kind of fragging hardcore that day for sure. All right, I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask some quick fire questions and then I'm gonna let you go. So, firstly, what's your favorite agent to play? It doesn't have to be in VCT, just in general. What's your favorite agent?
Sova.
Sova.
Easy.
There's so
Yep.
many people who have been saying scan initiators, dude. That's kind of insane. Okay, what's the agent that you hate playing against? Like you see it on the opposite team and you're like, ugh.
Probably. That's a good question. Probably Yoru. I think Yoru's really annoying. Like especially like as a leader myself, I have to call these rounds, and this guy can just he has two TPs in one round. It really like ruins timings, especially like if he has an op. Like everything, you feel the pressure a lot more. It's kind of like playing as a chamber, but like more OP. Like Yoru has just such an overloaded kit, and it's so hard to call against a good Yoru player. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'd say
Okay, who on the team is the calmest person, chillest person, irrespective of like whether
uh
they're on server or off?
yeah, Cryo easily. I mean, he is just a silent murderer of the server. I'll put it like that. He does his job. He does great. I wouldn't say he's silent, like, but I think compared to everyone else, I have some pretty loud guy. I got Tim. I got Pete. I think Bang is a lot louder than he seems. I think Matt, out of all of them, is just he does his job and he does it effectively and quietly.
Fair enough. And who's the most likely to overheat on the team?
That's a great question. I'm it's either Pete or Tim, but as long as they do it together, I don't mind. But they're tied.
Tied for sure. Okay. And who's the rager on the team who like loses their shit often?
I'm not gonna lie, we actually have no ragers on this team. No one
Wow,
gets
I
tilted.
think you're the
No one's
first person
blaming each
who's
other.
answered the question that way.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, no one really rages on this team. We're all pretty like calm, cool, and collected. No one like we don't have really have never had any internal problems so far. I mean, like you've seen other teams, I'm not gonna name them, but
I know who you mean.
we've had no problems. Everyone's friends. Everyone's having a good time. We're all nice people. We
Hmm.
don't like shit on each other, and yeah, no, we're good.
Okay, who plays the most ranked?
Mm, as of right now, it's probably Tim. I mean, he streams after practice. He grinds ranked, so yeah, Team Latino easily.
All right, and lastly, looking at the meta in particular, it does seem like a lot of teams are stepping away from the Sentinel role, and you see a lot more people picking up Chamber instead of like the usual Visor or whatever, just ditching the Sentinel concepts altogether. So, what's your take on that?
I think now that Cypher and Vise got like, put to the dirt like really hard
All right, yeah.
and like issue utils change, I think, opping in general is just a lot more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Um like the utility being nerfed, like you allow like oppers more freedom. So when yeah, it's just yeah, I kind of lost track of the question, but I think this it's suited for oppers in general for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good enough answer because like with the like you said with the utility nerfs and everything, Sentinels really don't do that role anymore. But yeah, anyway, that's about it for me. Thank you so much for your time and good luck for your next game.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.